Hey guys, what's up? My name is Dave, and as you know, I interpret everything. And today, as you could probably have guessed, I'm going to be interpreting The Gorge. The Gorge is a brand new film that can now be seen on Apple TV+. It follows a couple of expert marksmanship soldiers that are tasked on going to a remote area where there's a gigantic and mysterious gorge that they simply have to watch and basically protect the world from whatever lies within this gorge. The rules that they have are actually pretty simple. They just gotta stay at this gorge for a year. It is self-sustainable. It has all the power you could ever need, all the food you could ever need. Your only rule is don't talk to the person on the other side of this gorge. Past that, I probably shouldn't tell you anything about the movie. This is one of those watch as blindly as humanly possible if you can type of movies. It was directed by Scott Derrickson, who, if you recognize that name, there's a reason why. This is the guy that just most recently, and maybe most notably, directed The Black Phone, which was a thriller film above all else, a little bit of horror as well, and I thought it was actually a really well done movie, something that felt remarkably fresh and original, yet simple at the same time. Before that, he directed one of my favorite MCU films, which was the very first Doctor Strange movie. Past that, he did a lot of horror films, so a lot of people might recognize him for Sinister, which is a movie that wasn't really my cup of tea, but there is a lot of horror fans out there that swear by Sinister. He did a lot more like The Exorcism of Emily Rose, which was an interesting exorcism film, all the way back to, he actually did one of the Hellraiser films. I think it was Hellraiser 5 Inferno, which when I did all my reviews of the Hellraiser films, that one stuck out to me as oddly profound is the word I think I called it, which was a welcome change from what we had seen from the Hellraiser series. And I am a picky person when it comes down to those Hellraiser films. Some I don't really consider Hellraisers, some I absolutely do, but there was something about Inferno that I actually really liked, and maybe it was Scott Derrickson's vision. In general, I trust him as a director, and when it comes down to The Gorge, this is a movie that was as entertaining as it was thrilling. This is a thrilling movie. Miles Teller does a great job, so does Anya Taylor-Joy. I will say that out of Scott Derrickson, Miles Teller, and Anya Taylor-Joy, this isn't exactly anybody's best performance. It's not Scott Derrickson's best movie, it's not Miles Teller's best performance, nor is it Anya Taylor-Joy's. But they all do a good job anyway. And I particularly like the blending of genres here when it comes down to, you know, that thrills, that horror, as well as the romance between their characters. They have a lot of things going on in their lives that are similar, and only they can relate to one another. And it makes it just that much more compelling because they're not supposed to contact each other. But of course they do, right? And so it actually does have a strong romance genre in this because it answers that question of what are you willing to do for love? I will not answer what that is, but it is in the film. I would say the first half of the movie actually deals a lot more with romance, a little bit of action, but mostly romance, while the second half of the film, things crank up a little bit, it gets a little bit intense. I really love whatever it is that is in that gorge. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I think a lot of people watching are going to compare this to certain video games, especially in the horror genre of video games. I could see that comparison, but I do kind of see the movie as its own thing. Now, how about some negatives? One of my negatives is also kind of a positive in a way, and that is that the entire film from beginning to end feels kind of fake. Fake's kind of the wrong word. Or artificial. Artificial actually feels a lot more appropriate here because the gorge itself, the setting of the gorge feels fake. It feels like it was built and maintained by CGI, and Miles Teller and Anya Taylor-Joy kind of feel superimposed through green screen. And for the most part, you can tell. But then again, the part of this that's positive is that it is remarkably consistent too. It doesn't feel like it's trying too hard to look realistic. Instead, it feels almost like a style of art from beginning to end. So I'm not all that angry at the artificiality of how the movie looks. I kind of like the way it looks. For the most part, it's a very subtle thing. But like if you were to scrub through the movie from beginning to end in a couple of seconds, you'll easily be able to tell that, yes, it doesn't totally look grounded in realism. But again, there is a positive there. It is consistent. I actually like what they did with the movie. I like how the movie looks from beginning to end. I like the performances. I was on the edge of my seat pretty much from beginning to end. I like the relationship or the chemistry that you find between Miles Teller and Anya Taylor-Joy. I like the twists and turns that these characters run into throughout the runtime of the film. This year, I have not really been watching a ton of movies. So far, I've been watching a lot of TV, so I can't exactly compare this to everything that I saw. I can tell you, however, that I saw 10 movies at Sundance Film Festival, and none of them were as entertaining as The Gorge was. And none of the movies that I saw at Sundance would I ever really consider watching again, but I would absolutely 110% watch The Gorge again. So take that as you will. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, as far as I can see, The Gorge is the most entertaining movie I've seen all year. However, it is only February, so not much has happened this year. And like I said, I haven't really seen many movies, so that's very likely to change, especially by July, because there's those 3 movies that are coming out in July that it's going to be busy. It's going to be a busy one, but entertaining. Oh yeah, rating. Gotta rate the stupid movie. All right, from a letter grade, I'm going to go with A-. In my head, I'm kind of flip-flopping between B+ and A-. Whenever I have this where I'm flip-flopping a little bit, I like to give it the benefit of the doubt and just go with the higher of the two. And in this case, it's A-. But what about you guys? Have you seen The Gorge? Are you a fan of Scott Derrickson as a director? Are you a fan of Miles Teller, Anya Taylor-Joy? And have you seen The Gorge? Let me know what you thought about it in the comment section down below. And as for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit the like, subscribe button, and bell to be notified when I come out with my next review, whatever and whenever that may be. And until then, peace out.